he was a little bit of what I would call an effeminate rooster. If a rooster was wearing skinny jeans, this was the rooster. We were a little bit worried about him. He wouldn't come out of the coop. The hens would come out first. He'd kind of linger back, hanging out, probably gaming.
Jrich and Jerry, we're here with you. Trail Whispers podcast on a Thursday afternoon. Fun stories, chiropractic care. Life's an open book, so sit back in your chair. We're walking down the trail of life, so come along. With Trail Whispers podcast, you can't go wrong.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, viewers. We're glad that you're here with us tonight.
Thank you for joining us on this holiday.
It's Monday.
Tax day.
It is. For some of you, it's a great day where the government gives you a little extra cheddar cheese in your pocket.
Yep.
For others of you, it's a day where you owe the government.
So, and if you work for the government, do you think they're taking the day off today?
I think so. I tried to call the IRS today and I held for an hour. So
yeah, extended lunch break.
Yeah, all day lunch break.
I've been trying to get a hold of our local recreation center, and we've been back and forth over the last several weeks. And I told my wife, I said, the challenge is that it's a government entity.
The Parks Department.
And I was calling today and I could not, I was in a similar situation. It was hard to reach anybody. Everybody was apparently out for lunch at 11 o'clock. Call back after lunch, call back at 1 o'clock. Nobody's come back yet, call back in an hour, call back at 2, and they're in meetings for the day.
What are you trying to get a hold of the rec center for?
We have to get some contractual stuff written out for my wife's YMCA certification.
Lifeguard.
That
makes sense.
Yeah, they want to make sure that everything's in place.
Mm.
But maybe they were off for tax day.
They need a Ron Swanson in there getting them back in line. That's what they need. Yeah. So happy tax day, everybody.
Happy tax day.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be like most Americans and head on down to Walmart and pick up yourself a new flat screen TV.
Is that what people do with their tax money?
Oh my goodness, this is like white trash Christmas, Jerry.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
You know, actually thinking back on it, we have a mutual acquaintance. I'd call him a friend. You may or may not. Brett?
Yeah, I mean, you worked with him every day for years, so you know him.
So I can remember he was so dialed in, he would literally be running the numbers before you file. Like the moment you could file, he would already almost had all of his numbers calculated. And then he was so good at like calculating it down to almost like, not the penny, but it was within a few dollars. So he knew what he could go out and buy. He would always be buying something with the money that was not yet in his account.
Yeah, that's just not fiscally responsible, I don't feel like.
No. It was impressive.
If you're getting a tax return, you need to start claiming more on your taxes. In the state of Ohio, you can claim up to 9 dependents without the government being suspicious of you. So,
you think that you might go back to having some roommates to claim them?
I mean, you can just claim whatever you want. They won't investigate until you get to 9. That's a real thing. Mm. I don't do that. But, yeah, if you're getting a big tax return, start claiming more. That way, you're not giving the government an interest-free loan on your money.
I like it.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, you have a couple chicks that live here with you.
3 hens.
3 hens. Have you thought about claiming them?
I should. They are dependents.
They are dependent on you.
Yeah. Running around the yard. Man, they got in the garage. One of them got in the garage this weekend. I shot it with an airsoft gun. I know you're not
Did you really?
It's just an airsoft gun. Maybe I should edit this part out.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay. It's just a little plastic pellet. So it just it was sitting on top of my saw, and then it jumped off my miter saw, and then like jumped across the garage onto the table saw, and I was like, what in the world? And
So the garage is off limits for the chicks.
I don't want them in there because then there's a big pile of chicken poop in the garage
Yeah.
now. So I gotta clean that up.
Our garage floor right now is just a mess with chicken poop. Every day I'm cleaning it out. But the kids are in and out, so we're okay with, we know that letting your chickens free range,
Yeah, that's what I do.
it just, yeah, you have some more poop to deal with.
Yeah, just inevitable.
When do you think they'll allow us to claim chickens, dogs, cats?
I think it's soon. I think it's, yeah. I don't know. People love their pets a little too much.
Yeah.
So there's been stories of people trying to like marry their dog and stuff. It's like, that's not for me.
Not yet, anyways. You're not there yet.
Not yet. Not that long.
You're progressive, but
Yeah.
you're not that progressive.
I'm liberal, but good night. So, yeah. I don't know.
So I did a funny thing. So we have chickens, and we've talked about chickens before on the podcast, and we just bought an incubator. So we have 22 eggs in the incubator. Hopefully we'll get some chicks out of that in about 19 days now. So
How many chickens are you going to try to end up with?
I would love to have 60 to 80.
Because
It would provide plenty of eggs in the winter for us. And in the spring, summer, fall, we could give away some eggs. We could sell some eggs. So when your chickens die off and you need eggs, you'll hit me up. I'll sell to you.
yeah, not give it. So,
Not give away.
okay, so you were talking
So-
about 80 birds here.
80 birds just running around on the property.
How many roosters?
I think we probably need to have 2 for that. We have a new one now. When we were in Florida, we lost our second Roland, R.I.P. Roland. He was a little bit of what I would call an effeminate rooster. If a rooster was wearing skinny jeans, this was the rooster. We were a little bit worried about him. He wouldn't come out of the coop. The hens would come out first. He would kind of linger back, hanging out, probably gaming.
They see me roll and
He would just roll out there and just very meek and like, he didn't give you that feeling of protection.
okay.
He's the guy that if, we both have daughters, one day you're just like, okay, I want them to, you're praying for all these different things, but one thing would be physically, could they protect my daughter if they had to?
Sure, it's real.
This rooster could not. And so
Any
he
of the
found
hens?
himself dead.
So he died on his own.
He died on his own. Our other Roland, the first one, died, and there was another hen that died at the same time. So we know he was protecting a hen. This one, I think it could have just been maybe suicide. I don't know.
It was just too much for him.
So we got Big Boy, and dude, this thing is just like twice the size of the original Roland. His
name is Big Boy.
Big Boy. He was gifted to us. And that was his name, and we've kept it.
Yeah.
So Big Boy it
You
is.
got a picture of him?
I think I
See if you can
probably
get a
did.
picture for the viewers. I'll put it on right
Yeah,
now.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Big Boy, he could probably handle 60, 70 hens if he had to. But we'll probably get another one just for fun.
Big Boy.
So
Oh my goodness.
it's kind of like yourself. And in a room full of men, you're typically...
People are like, hey, there's Big Boy. That's a big boy. Speaking of being a big boy, I got 2 things to say here. We're talking about prayer and, what you're praying for, but then you're also talking about big boys. So let me start with big boys and then we'll circle back to prayer. So I told the story last week, viewers, about how we had like a Sunday morning meltdown. I went on Amazon, I ordered all the clothes.
Yep.
Right? And I ended up doing the same thing for myself, except for I'm very picky. Whoops. My placement fell off. I'm very picky about my dress shirts. I wear a Stafford dress shirt.
Can I take some guesses as to what you're picky about?
It's just the
brand?
Just the brand.
Okay, nothing else.
No, nothing else. I don't care necessarily about color, pattern. So what I did is with the kids, I bought 2 pairs of pants, a tan pair and a blue pair, and then a white shirt and a blue shirt. That way they can mix, and then I got ties for them to share. And I said, you don't have to wear a tie, but if you want to wear a tie, you can. They were both super excited to wear a tie. I don't know, they thought it was cool. So anyways, decided to do the same thing for myself just because I had too much going on in my closet. I've got shirts that are 4 or 5 years old, and like, it's just like, this is too much. This is ridiculous. So I bought a white shirt, a blue shirt, and then like a lilac, lavender type color.
Nice.
So I was like, this is a nice color. And then I bought, so those are Stafford dress shirts, and then I bought 2 pairs of Dockers dress pants. I bought like a tan color pant, dark tan color, and I got a blue color. And so whole family's dressed sharp Sunday morning, me and the kids. I got my daughter a new Sunday dress, you know. So we're going to church feeling good. Feeling real good. And you know, what is that saying about, it has to do with like when you dress nice, you feel good, or dress good, feel good, something like that. Like, you feel confident, you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going in, got a little swag, going into Sunday school.
Were you wearing the lavender?
Yeah.
Because it was sunny out, so.
Yeah. And I had a purple tie with it. I thought it looked good. So I sit down in church, and I'm in Sunday school. Man, and we had a missionary in. We were talking about this before the pod, and it's just breaking some things down. I'm like hearing something, like jotting notes down. Like, man, this is such a blessing. I really needed that Sunday school hour. Like, we've all been there before, I think. And so I really needed that. And so all of a sudden my phone buzzes, and it's my friend Aaron, the WABC pastor guy who harasses us in our comments. And I just get a picture.
This is the picture you got. You gotta throw it up there.
I get this picture of myself. He's up in the balcony taking a picture.
That's a pretty good picture of you.
Down on me, and then his comment is "little tight on the neck?" ? And I don't respond because I'm trying to be fed from the Lord. And then the next picture is this here. A zoomed in shot of my neck being like tightened by the tie and everything else, and I'm just like, this guy's too much. Then I found a picture of him on Google and just sent it back to him. I was just, so, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. I forget what that came from, but why
He's got some good eyes.
Yeah, harassment.
To see the neck overhang. I mean, there's really not much there.
Overhang is a stretch. When you wear a tie, you tighten your shirt, okay? It's not a big deal.
No.
So, but then the other thing we were talking about was praying that your daughter would find a man that'd be able to protect her. Friday morning, so this goes along with like teaching your daughter that lesson. So Friday morning, I wake up and I'm like, all right, I want to get laundry put away. So I go down to the basement. I'm going to get laundry from the basement, bring it up before I go to work. So it's like 6:15 in the morning, early. Go down there and I'm like, oh crap. Basement is flooding right now.
No.
Sump pump. I've got 3 sump pumps in this basement. So it's a lot. I know most people just have 1, but I've got 3. And so I'm like, okay, yep, this pump is, I don't know, I guess something's up with the pump, whatever. So I pull the pump out of the pit, and there's a Ziploc bag stuck to the side of it, like where it's sucking in water. So somehow, even though there's a cover on this pit, somehow a Ziploc bag, I don't know, my kids was messing around down there or something, right? So I take the Ziploc bag, I put the pump in, it starts working again. I'm like, oh, that's great. Praise the Lord, right? Problems are solved. So I go pick up the kids Friday night. We get back here at like 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. and I go down in the basement just to check on things. And now 2 of the 3 sump pumps are flooding. So water's coming in both ends of my basement.
But now you have all 3 of the kids with you.
I know. And so I was like, all right, guys, we got to run to the store real quick. And thankfully, Menards is 5 minutes up the road. And so I just go and I get 2 pumps, throw them in the cart, and then come back. So I put, so I'm messing with them again, seeing if I can get them to work, and do I need to replace these or whatever? Because pumps like $200 a pop, right? So I'm like, man. So I put one of the new pumps in, and then the other one, I'm like, oh, it's working now. Like, what's going on? Something's up with this thing, whatever. So I'm like, okay. And it's working for the night. Wake up Saturday morning, go back down. The one pump's not working again. So I put a new pump in there, and then I'm like, okay, this will fix the problem. But the new pump wasn't working either. So I'm like, okay, so it's not the pump. What's going on? There's a plastic piece that is attached to the pipe that screws into the pump called a check valve that lets water in or out, right? It has a flap, and so it pumps water out but doesn't allow the water back in to flood the pump up or whatever. And so that check valve was broken. So the piece of the flap's not working. And so that's what needed to replace on that one. So it was only $6 or whatever, so that's a good thing. But so we're on the way back to Menards, and I was talking to the boys. I like to try to use these moments as teachable moments. I know you do similar things as parenting. And I just said to the boys, I said, guys, one day you're going to have kids. You're going to have a wife, and you're going to have kids. And it's your responsibility to keep the basement dry. And they're like, okay. But it's just like, and I said, keep the basement dry, that's important. But I said, it's more than keeping the basement dry. That's just one piece of it. But it's protecting and providing for your family. And you're going to have kids. And you're going to have to take them to Menards and get the thing. And they're not going to be excited to go. But you're keeping the basement dry for them. And they won't understand it. But you're just going to have to do it. And Ella was like, who's going to keep my basement dry? And I was like,
ding, ding.
I said,
good question.
Yep, good question, Ella. You're the winner. So I said, Ella, it's very important that you marry a man who loves Jesus and who will keep your basement dry for you. She's okay, like she's totally in on it. But it reminded me of another story that happened with a sump pump. And so this was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
This is an all-time classic, in case you've never heard this view.
I wasn't sure if you'd heard this.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I remember, it's one of the funniest stories of all time.
I don't think it's the funniest story of all time, but it's a funny story.
It's another level. Your will to see this through is impressive.
And that's part of the ADHD that I've been learning about with my counselor.
Yes.
So it's the hyper focus. It's somewhat considered a superpower. So
this moment it is a superpower.
So what happened, viewers, was
I'm gonna refill my coffee.
Yeah, you refill. I'm here.
Keep the viewers occupied.
Yeah, hey guys, it's me right over here. So what had happened is I realized that my basement was flooding. Okay, and like I said, we've obviously got some kind of water problems, and maybe I need to regrade my lawn or something, and get the water away from the house. I don't know necessarily. I'm not an expert, but basement's flooding. The pump is not working. And so when I moved into the house, the owner graciously gave me a pump as a backup pump. And he said, always have a backup pump. This guy was wise. Unfortunately, the pump that he gave me did not work. And so it's like 10:30 at night. Home Depot's closed, Lowe's are closed. And my wife was like, call a plumber. And I says to myself, says
to yourself.
Yeah, I said, listen, you call a plumber, a pump is $200, they're going to charge you $500. And you're after hours on a weekend, you're going to get double hit for this. You're going to spend $1,000. I would rather suffer all night long than pay $1,000. That's just me. I'm willing to do that, right?
And you used to be really cheap. You're not as cheap anymore.
Yes. I've come a long way in that. Like appreciating name brand, good products.
Yeah.
That I'll never have, that last a while. Like, thought process behind the iPad was, you could buy a cheap tablet or something, but something I'm using frequently, I'm going to get something that's going to last me 5 years without a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
So this was more so based on principle, not on cheap.
Yeah. And so I put this pump in the pit, but it wouldn't work on the float. So a sump pump has a little like plastic ball essentially that gets up to a certain point, triggers the pump, hits a switch, and then it drains all the water out. And when that ball goes back down, it turns it off. That's how it works, viewers. Look it up if you don't have one already. And so this pump's not working. It would work if I manually pull the trigger. And so what I did was I rigged up with a piece of rope a switch where I could pull and then the pump would go off. And so I slept on a yoga mat that night and I had an alarm on my phone every 15 minutes. And then every 15 minutes I would get up and I'd go over and I'd pull this string at a certain angle in order to get the pump to go off. And so every 15 minutes I'm waking up, I'm doing this all night long, slept terribly. And of course in the morning, people had places to go. So then it's me with the kids and they're going crazy and they're little at the time. And I'm just like losing my mind, but the basement was saved and I was able to get a pump.
Basement was dry.
Bone dry. And in the morning we got a pump. I went, first thing I did, they opened up at 6 o'clock, Menards did. And I remember I got in my car at like 5:55 and then I was back over here by like 6:15. Didn't even miss my next poll schedule, right? So we saved it. But that's the concept that I was trying to relay to Ella was, listen, you gotta marry someone, A, who loves Jesus, super important, but B, someone who is willing to just grind. And I'm not like lifting myself up in any way because I definitely have faults and failures, but like as a man, as a husband, we need to be able to kick it into a gear to be like, it doesn't matter. Like this car will get fixed tonight or I will keep this basement dry. If it kills me, it kills me. I'll sleep tomorrow. Whatever.
I won't sleep tomorrow.
We'll figure it out,
Yes.
right? And so it's like, yeah,
yes,
we got to be able to do that. So I was
Another
trying to
gear.
relay to my boys of like, you need to be these men, and you need to marry this man. And
like it.
Yeah.
I'll give your boys a shout out because they helped us out a couple years ago at our house when we were trenching from remember that? Trenching the hallway back to that bathroom.
Yeah,
and they were
digging.
grinding with us.
Yeah.
That was a laborious job.
Yeah, they were.
And they
pumped.
stayed
I
with
think you
it.
gave them like $50 each or
Yeah.
something. They were like so excited about that.
Candy bars. I think I bought them a couple other.
Yeah. But it's good. Hard work is good, right? Like that's, we need it. We need it so bad.
Did you ever have moments like that in your childhood or throughout your life where you're like, this is one of these moments I just have to grind? Besides the keeping the basement dry.
Oh, all the time. Fixing cars or, I remember this one time in particular, accidentally, like my driveway kind of sits up on a little bit of a slope. There's like a hill on this side and it was snowing outside. And I accidentally slipped the van off the side of the driveway. And I, for the life of me, couldn't get it back up. It was stuck in the snow. I'm trying everything, putting gravel down. And so I like rigged up these sheets of OSB plywood to go under the tires. And it took me hours to like figure out how to get this van out of here. I was like, I am not calling somebody. Like I had a neighbor stop, guy that lives down the road. He's like, if you're still stuck tomorrow morning, I'll be coming by with my truck. I'll pull you out. And I was like, oh, I'll be out by then. And I was able to confidently say that because I knew it was true. Like, no, I'll be out by then. Like, I will make this happen. This is going to happen.
Yes.
Right? And so it's just like things like that or stuff with cars. I've had that before where it's like, no, I have to be able to go to work in the morning. I have like, I don't know, like we've got 2 cars, but one of them's for, I can't leave her without a car in case something happens.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's like, I will grind. I will be here. We will figure this out. I will watch the YouTube videos to learn how to do this and we will get it done. Right.
Yes.
And so it's like, Yeah, I think of that with the kitchen project too.
Oh yeah.
Because when we moved in this house, you were our realtor, which was
Yeah.
an interesting
Yeah.
thing. But and you had told me I'll help you
remember
remodel the kitchen.
Who was the guy that did the inspection? All I remember is he had like a cassette tape. Was he doing audio recordings or something?
Yeah, Jay Simler was his name.
Shout out Jay.
Shout out, he's a listener. I have a mound in the back of my property. It's like a hill that's back there. And he was like, I wonder what that hill is. I was like, oh, that's an Indian burial ground. And he was like, no kidding. I was like, yeah, that's what they told me. He's like, wow, I've never seen one of these in real life. I was just like, this guy he's somewhere else right now.
Did you guys hire him, or how did he get on as the inspector? Did you just call like a local?
He was a recommendation from Tim back in the day.
Really?
He did my first house inspection.
Okay.
So
similar vibe, or?
Same dude, same feel.
Okay.
But he caught a lot of stuff and gave me a good report. So
yeah. He was an interesting guy.
He was. Something was not quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So might have been on the spectrum.
But anyway, so the kitchen story, that we were grinding on that.
So you told me when I was buying the house, you said I'll help you remodel the kitchen or something, and that kind of like sealed the deal of like, all right, Jeremy will help me sometime remodel this kitchen because I got no idea what I'm doing. Like I can be an ox and grind, but I don't know electrical. I don't know this stuff, right? How to put up cabinets, I just don't know.
Yes.
I can do floors. I don't know how to do anything else really. But
as you're telling the story, what year did we do that? Because I just came across a picture recently.
Oh man, that would have been like 2017 or 2018.
Okay. Can you tell the story and I'll come back to it?
Yeah. So, anyways, so Jeremy's like, I'll help you with this kitchen, and I've got 1 week. You were like about to start a new job, and you put in your notice at your old job, and you had like an extra week of time off or something in between jobs. And you're like, I have this week from this date to this date. And so I talked to my boss and I got the week off work. Wasn't a ton of notice, but then I was like, we'll do it. We'll make it happen. And so it was when your wife was pregnant with your first, Sophia. I remember this, and you guys were like going to appointments, checkups and stuff like that. You'd come over here at like 6 a.m.
What month did we do this?
I think it was like January.
That's what I was kind of thinking. I was thinking wintertime.
Thought. Yeah, and so, anyways, you'd come over at like 6 a.m. and we worked till midnight, like every day. Or you'd be like, hey, Jrich, I'm going to leave. Mariah's got an appointment at 1 o'clock. I'll be back after dinner around 5 or 6. While I'm gone, I want you to do this, this, and this. And so I'm just killing myself to get this done. I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my entire life. I would get done with the day and just like lay back in my bed and fall asleep. And then I would hear your car pull in the morning and be like, oh, we gotta go. We gotta get to work. Jeremy's here. And we would keep grinding and go to Lowe's again and drop another $1,000 and go back to Lowe's. And the beams are rotten in the ceiling. You remember that? Like we got into so much junk in this house. My goodness, it's crazy.
That's a throwback for you. You remember that?
Oh,
remember?
Oh my goodness! I'll show the viewers. This is funny, viewers. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. It's me with a roll of insulation on my lap. This is the Pro Max, huh? That's a big phone.
Yeah.
Big phone, big boy. Big boy.
Kind of like my rooster.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a grind, man. But we have to do that though.
It was fun.
As men, like we have to be able to grind. We have to have a gear.
You have to. It's funny because I was actually talking our mutual friend Josh. He's also my brother-in-law, and he was telling me how he kind of misses some of that stuff because when they moved to Indianapolis, they had a similar situation. They were renovating the entire inside. And it was this whole ordeal. Well, I remember they had a deadline for appliances to get delivered. Now, it's funny because in my mind today, I'm thinking if I wasn't ready for the appliances, I would just call them and say, we can't receive them we need to push it back. Or can you deliver them in the garage? We'll put them in once we're ready.
Yeah.
For some reason, that was not like part of the plan. So we had to finish. So we literally pulled an all-nighter of doing flooring through the entire house. When I say like an all-nighter, like we did not stop working. And I think they got delivered at like 8 or 9 in the morning, and we were wiped.
Yeah.
Dude, it was just fun.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that day.
And it got done. And we're capable of getting so much done.
So much.
Yeah.
We just got to push.
Yeah.
So in honor of that, we're going to do an all-night podcast tonight because we're going to
right. I got to go to work in the morning.
We're going to push. We're going to do that hard thing.
We get so much done. Man, these 24 listeners. Yeah, they're going to love it.
It'd be a special for them.
Yeah, so that's something that happened to me this weekend with that sump pump. I'm glad it's done now, so I've got an extra pump in the basement, which I know I've needed to have for some time, but I've just been putting it off, procrastinating getting one, so now it's there, no problem. But
yeah, that's nice to have that.
Yeah.
Nice to have that knocked out. So we're talking about a couple different things. But speaking of grinding and persevering, hardship, we're talking about spending money, deals, finding deals, stuff like that. We had a communication with one of our sponsors.
We did Wash.
And we were just touching base with him, making sure that we were compensating him enough for the ad review.
Yeah, and I wanted to check with him to see if there was anything else. Like, viewers, it's no secret. These are tough economic times. We're throwing around phrases like build back better, right? And it feels like nothing's getting built and it's not getting any better. And so our friend at Enjoy Optical and the $19,000 General pop-up locations nationwide had a special promotion. So basically I was reaching out to him to make sure he's getting value. And he said business has been off the chain for him. So thanks for you guys that are supporting. That helps us in turn as well. So that's really helpful. And then I wanted to check to see, is there anything else that you can do for these viewers in these hard economic times?
Yeah, we have a loyal fan base of how many?
A loyal, probably below median income. We're not really attracting intellectuals here. Anyone with any kind of college degree. Our average listener is probably not have a college degree, right? If you're listening with a college degree, leave us a comment. Heck, if you're listening with a high school diploma, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. So, anyways, he reached out. He got back to me, and he actually said that they're doing a special promotion where frames and lenses are 99 cents. So you go into Enjoy Optical, the main office in Oklahoma City, and I really hope someone in Oklahoma City is able to take us up on this offer because it is a great offer. If you could just please go into the shop there, Enjoy Optical, Edmond, Oklahoma. But 99 cents, frames and lenses, and if you get a second pair, this is where it gets even better. It's actually 49 cents for your second pair. So that means for $1.48, you're getting 2 pairs of frames and 2 pairs of lenses. This is a fantastic deal. It's such a deal. This guy is a giver. He's a giver. I don't care what they say about it. Wash Joe Cox is a giver. He's a man of the people.
That's why he's one of our sponsors.
2024. Wash Joe Cox 2024.
I like it.
Write him in, viewers. Let's write him in there.
Let's write him in.
So, yeah, that's why he's a sponsor, though. He takes care of our people. And
was there a different discount code, or is it the usual? Because I couldn't remember, based off of our communication with him earlier, if he gave us any sort of a discount code, and I didn't want him to, someone to walk into the store and say, hey, I heard about the new special, here's the code, and he didn't honor it. So I wanted to make sure whatever that code is, that people walk in and say, hey, I'm a listener, Trail Whisperers, here's the discount code, 99 cents, 49 cents.
Yeah, the code is actually how he looked in that video today. Homeless. HOMLESS. MELESS. So that code resonates with him as a person with a long, shaggy beard and some circular sunglasses. So, yeah, head on in, enjoy Optical or one of the Dollar General pop-up locations, get some great service, flag down the Dollar General employee. They're in one of the aisles stocking something. And so get up to the register. You're going to use the code HOMELESS for 99-cent pair of lenses and frames, and you're going to get your second pair for 49 cents. What a deal.
Just a reminder, some employees like to play hide and seek.
They do. And we talked about that in the past episode. And if they are, send your kids into the aisles, find these people.
You'll find them.
Yeah.
They're there, looking to serve.
Yep. They're
Looking
there.
to serve.
They're definitely there. Yeah, so I had something funny happen that, your parents are a little older than mine. I feel like, my parents were born, I think my mom was born in 1960. My dad was born like 62 or something like that. Like my dad was a little bit younger than my mom. But anyways, it's just that generation where, and we were talking about this before the pod we started recording, we were talking about an old Disney movie called Heavyweights, which is about a fat camp. And it's like, you could not make that movie today. It'd be fat shaming. And, you've got roosters committing suicide. I mean, this is 2024. This is what's happening. And so, that our parents' generation, they just didn't care.
No.
And like my dad would say things to me like, I'd be like, Dad, I lost 10 pounds. Like, turn around, it's following you. And like, he would never say like, proud of you, son. It was like, you're fat. So, I don't know. It's just funny. So Jonah, my son, is like, Grandma, guess how much I weigh? And my mom's like 50 pounds. First of all, a 5-year-old weighs like 50 pounds. Okay, Jonah's 9.5, and he's got my kind of build. He's got some bigger hips on him. He's got some broader shoulders, and so he's like, no, Grandma, I weigh 93 pounds. And she was like, oh, you're a fatty. Like his face was just like, what? And I was like, oh, don't worry about her, son. That's just the way she talks.
That's just it.
But it's just like, that generation would just say like,
whatever comes to mind.
Yeah. And it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even above that generation, my grandpa, he would always make comments. And my grandma would always be like, stop saying that. But he would always make comments like that.
Yeah.
Oh, she's large. It's like, it's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
It is. I mean, and like some of it's good. Like you need a little bit of a challenge, right? Like
You do.
You shouldn't be like you're like, oh, wouldn't you be comfortable in your own skin? Look, if your skin weighs 400 pounds, we don't want you to be comfortable. There's too much of it, right? And so it's like there's a balance of like, hey, like I'm making an effort, but I'm struggling. Or just like, dude, you've let yourself go. You don't get this big without like binge eating Oreos and like there's an issue here, right? Like let's get out and move more and stuff like that, right? But I think you gotta be sensitive of it with kids. And especially for kids that aren't even fat. Like he's not fat.
No.
And so it's
strong.
Like, yeah, and he is. I mean, he's the hardest working kid. I was like, we're Saturday. And I make the weekends about the kids a lot of times, and you guys, most of you probably know my story and stuff, but it's on the weekends, it's just me and the kids. And so you can go back to episode 1 if you want to hear the in-depth story or write me a message. I'll write you back. But anyways, I'm like, all right, Jonah, I was talking to the kids, like, what do you guys want to do today? And Jonah's like, I want to build a box to be able to put all the balls, basketballs, footballs in outside. And so I'm like, all right. And so I was like, what do you want it to look like? And he's like, I want it to be this big and this tall. And so then we built this, you saw it when I was out there shooting around earlier, wood crate. And so it's like, that's what he wanted to do. He wants to work.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So it's like,
he's a worker.
All right, cool, man. Like, let's go. Let's do it. So, yeah, it's cool. But that older generation, just a little out there sometimes.
Yeah. There's I think it's taken root the last couple of years. The boomer generation is what they're called.
Yeah.
Don't be a boomer.
Then they're throwing that phrase around though, like to anyone that's like don't be a boomer.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know how to record a TikTok video and you're a boomer.
I'm probably a boomer according to a lot of people.
You are. You have to be, because my wife is with technology, so you're probably right. You're a little bit ahead of her.
I feel like you're a little more technology inept than I am. But I'm
a step above her. So you're here. I'm here. She's down here.
But she's got a YouTube channel and stuff.
Yeah, but it's a miracle that even got that she got that uploaded. She had trouble getting onto the World Wide Web.
I don't know, Jerry, because so she's we gained a subscriber, unfortunately. So she's our 12th, our 12 disciples out there. So
yeah, that's a bummer. I was hoping we were to stay below a dozen.
Yeah, well, it was
only in single digits.
I usually check a couple times a week just on the videos. So for the viewers, I do everything. Okay, Jeremy just shows up here with something made of bacon, and then we film this, which is fine. I'm okay with this arrangement.
It's a good arrangement.
It's a good arrangement. It works.
Yes.
But I was on there and I saw that it was like a day after we uploaded, it was 4 likes. I go on the next day and it says 3 likes. And I'm like, someone liked the video and then unliked it. And I'm like, why? Did we say something offensive? I was like trying to think, what did we say that made someone upset or whatever? So who knows? Maybe it was an accident. But I found myself replying to comments in the third person because I wanted to sound like professional. Like someone commented, whose idea was the candle? And I said, that was Justin's idea. He loves candles. But it's me typing it from our Trail Whisperers account. But I'm trying to make it sound like...
This sounds like a Michael Scott scenario.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do it all, guys.
You're everything.
I'm trying. We're trying. But speaking of... I forget what we were even talking about, but...
Talk about boomers and different stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think I thought of this because most of my fellow mall goers are mall walkers, older boomers walking around the mall. And I went to Stir Fry 88.
Yes, you forgot to talk about it last week.
Yes.
You had a boomer moment.
Yes. And so I was telling about how Stir Fry 88 failed health inspections, had all these different violations, but the one that they published was that they had to get sprayed for cockroaches. So the day after filming that episode, because you had challenged me and you said you need to support them.
Yeah.
Because I'm standing with them this whole time, throughout the years. For the past 17 years, I am faithfully standing with my favorite mall Chinese food establishment, right? And so now, in one moment of weakness, things are a little bit dicey. Now all of a sudden I'm going to leave them out to dry.
No.
It's just one roach,
Yeah.
What's the big deal? Several roaches? You don't even know they're in there. They look like chili peppers. You're fine. And so you challenged me and you said you should support them. And so I was up in the Belden Village area doing something unrelated to the mall. I didn't have to go to the mall. I was in Verizon. And I was like, you know what? I'm over by the mall. I'm going to show support for Stir Fry 88. I'm going. And so I made a little video clip, which I'm going to play for you right now. Hey viewers, I'm here at the Belden Village Mall, and I've decided to give Stir Fry 88 a chance after their health code violations. So I think it's going to be just fine. It looks great. I don't taste any pesticides at all. So they're getting treated currently for cockroaches, but other than that, it's a delicious meal. So I'm really enjoying it. So, all right, see you guys. It was a good experience. Good food. I was glad I supported them. I don't regret it.
What was the overall feel? Was there a line of people waiting to
There
get
was
in?
actually there was actually no one in line at all.
Really? That's
The
hard
other
to believe
businesses-
after that.
The other businesses had lines, but this business just had two lonely-looking Chinese people standing behind the glass counter of chicken. And I just said, "Hey, I'll take the number 2." And they just loaded it up.
It's almost like God the Father. Nobody wants them? I'll take it. I'll take him.
Yeah, I guess.
Come on over.
Yeah, I was just like, "Hey, there's no one in line? This is shocking." It's shocking after a cockroach allegation where you have to get sprayed once a week that no one's in line. So, sure, I'll come up here. And it was not
So
bad.
what was their response?
I didn't say anything to them about the cockroaches.
Oh, okay, no, but when you went up there, did it just like, did they smile? What was their disposition?
Not smiling. They had a look of hardship on their face, I would say. Like, you see these pictures of people that survived, like, the Great Depression. It's kind of like that kind of Great Depression vibe going on. And so I was just like, I'll take the number 2 combo. I'll take it with, forget even what I ordered. I think I ordered Mongolian chicken and General Tso's chicken and veggies.
Did you ask him for a side of roaches?
Do you have any roaches? I should have. Yeah, I don't even know how I could cover that up, but it was delicious. And they loaded me up with food, I'm assuming, because they had excess because no one else was eating there. So,
You think you'll be back soon?
oh yeah, it was delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Maybe you could get him to sponsor the pod, and that we
That's
could
not a bad idea.
take our loyal supporters down there. It could be on us.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Or maybe see if like a cockroach spraying company would sponsor the pod in honor of them or something. What's this business, like Terminex or something like that? Or I don't even know the name. Orchid?
Yeah, one of them.
One of the sprayers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude, that's funny.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Glad you went down there on the
Me too.
expedition. They needed that.
They needed the support.
Yep. And if you're faithful for 17 years to a place, you can't have one tiny minor little thing stop you.
It's just a small roach.
Yeah.
Who among us has not found a roach in their food at some point in their life?
Yeah, I found hair in my food before, just kind of
So have
part
I.
of the gig.
Yeah, I was at Bob Evans and I found a hair in my soup. And they always pull the line like, "Oh, it's probably yours." And he looked at me and he's like, This is on the house tonight, sir. I'll get you a new bowl." And I was like, "Thank you, sir." I was like, "What are you going to tell me? It's me? No, I have a genetic disorder. I don't
Feel
have
my
any hair."
legs, they're smooth as a
there's
whistle.
nothing. I don't have
Nothing.
eyelashes.
Yeah.
What are you going to say? So, yeah,
That's funny.
fun times.
So our next segment we were talking about was this is going to tap into everybody's childhood. Probably your childhood. Top 5 yard games.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ready to go for it?
Sure, let's go. So I thought about this because this weekend it was a beautiful weekend. It wasn't supposed to be as nice as it was, but here in Northeast Ohio where we're at, it was in the 60s. Beautiful. Sunday was in the 80s. It was like 83.
Super nice.
And so Saturday night we were outside playing some games in the yard, and I was like, this will be fun to talk about. So we started at about 10. We're coming up on 50 minutes. So we got another 30 minutes or so here. So we'll talk, and
then we can flip our other
if we
segment.
get to it, yeah, we'll see. We'll look at time. So if we don't get to it, we'll get to it next week. So
Sounds good.
all right. So we each came up with 5 yard games. I think we should start with number 5 and work our way backwards,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So end on number 1.
Okay.
So I'll write these down and I can put these in the description too. So, all right, here we go. What do you got, my friend? What is...
My last one on the list, and at times it could be one of my favorite, but it did fall down that line a little bit, was King of the Mountain or King of the Hill. Did you ever play it?
No.
Dude, we
I
have
mean,
a friend.
I played it on like a pool, on like a raft, where it'd be like a raft floating.
Oh, yeah.
And in like a lake or something, and
Yeah.
it's like, then you're king of the mountain.
Dude, we had a friend growing up, and his front yard was literally like this. It was just super steep. and it was a wide open, like probably 150 feet wide, maybe 200 feet wide. So what we would do is, and up at the very top towards the center, they had like a decorative fence in front of their walkway. And we would literally play King of the Mountain. Everybody would start in the bottom and have to try to touch the fence to take over.
Okay.
Dude, it was so fun because you had this hill, so you could run and slide, you could like barrel roll. Dude, it was so fun.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of like exercise, so I think that's why I kind of made number 5, because it was a true workout.
Yeah, you're gassed after that.
You're gassed
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. I would do my number 5 in the same sense as for that reason of being gassed. We would do, back in the day, we would do like capture the flag. And I remember doing this a couple times with like youth group activities and stuff like that. But we'd have, you'd have the flag at each end of the field. And if you get tagged, then you're like in their jail and someone has to tag you to get them out.
Yep.
And once you cross the line, you're able to be tagged. And so you're like sprinting across here and like people are trying to get you and tackle you and whatever. So the downside is man, you are gassed. You're probably ruining the pants that you had on with grass stains and sliding through or whatever. But dude, it is a good time.
That's a really good game to have at number 5. I'm anxious to see what your number 1 is.
Maybe I'm just not doing this right. So that's always yeah.
My number 5 is my least favorite. Your number 5 is your favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, what about 4 for you?
Number 4 for me is gonna be Ghost in the Graveyard. Classic.
I'm not even familiar with it.
Viewers, you guys can comment below if you know what Ghost in the Graveyard is. It's just a fun game.
How do you
Well,
play?
we don't have to go into details. We don't want to bore the viewers.
Okay.
We'll see if they know.
Okay. Yeah, leave
My
us a
wife
comment
knows,
if you've
so
ever
she's
heard
played,
of it.
She does.
Yeah. My number 4 is, so I've got 2 names here of games that are politically incorrect for different reasons. So this name is not correct, and the game is called Smear the Queer. You've played this?
I remember that.
I'm sure. So, yeah, the queer has the football, and they get smeared, and you just tackle them. And so it was a stupid game, but so much fun.
So much fun.
So, yeah, we played Smear the Queer all the time. Just
that's
simple
funny.
game.
That's a throwback.
Just laying people out.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember playing that with friends, and we did have a few friends that were a little more fragile, we'll say, and we would almost sometimes intentionally throw it at them to try to kill them.
Yeah, you just try
It's really a game that emphasizes bullying and aggression.
Yeah, and if you're the queer, bravery. It takes bravery to be a queer.
Bring me down. I'm gonna bust through this line.
Yeah. But it's like when you get that ball, you're like, all right, I'm going to get smeared. But
and you're a big boy, so it probably took a few people to bring you down. Or were they just trip you up on your legs?
I mean, I wasn't always 6'2", as a kid at one point. I mean, up until I graduated. When I graduated high school, I was only 5'10". I grew like 4 inches after high school. So, like that year after high school, I really shot up.
Interesting.
But, yeah. So, yeah, Smear the Queer. That's my number 4.
Number 3, I've been struggling, because there's some games that were like specific to me and my one brother, and I might throw it out there.
Which brother?
Brother Josh. You may have met him once or twice, maybe.
A bunch of times.
Have you?
Yeah, he's got a wife from Romania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you have. But it's probably going to be that one, and it was, we would always play backyard baseball.
Yeah.
In particular, we called it as if baseball. And it's funny because I still follow baseball, I love baseball, but now they have software out there that you can be in there, you can hit the ball, and it will literally tell you if it was a base hit or was an out based off of where that ball would land. It will just calculate
like in a batting cage. Is that what you're saying? Like calculate.
This is what like professional level guys are having, like
Okay.
MLB guys. So you can actually calculate, oh, that's a base hit, that's this. Well, this is before that type of technology, we would set up cones in the yard. And if the ball went to that cone in between there, it was assumed that the fielder fielded it cleanly and threw you out at first. So
Okay.
we called as if. So it's as if you had a full field.
That's kind of cool.
Dude, it was so fun. So you could play a full game of baseball one-on-one and have
That's a
nobody
really
else out
good
there.
idea. I like that. Because
so much fun.
Yeah, we played a lot of baseball as kids too. We had this field behind our house, and as a kid, you're like, that field was massive. We called it the field. It was just this guy's backyard. His last name was Mushy Ball. Not making that up.
No.
Mr. Mushy Ball.
Mr.
Mushy Ball. Always, it was Baugh at the end. Baugh, but we said ball. And so he always had on a pair of khakis and a white undershirt. And he would come home from work, and I don't know where he worked, but he would come out and he'd cut his grass. And he said, you guys can play baseball in this field, but you have to use a ball that's not a real baseball. So like they may have looked like baseballs, but they were rubber or whatever.
Yep.
And so, because basically when we used real baseballs, we like broke the siding on his garage and stuff like that. So, yeah. But we never had that game you were describing. As if. That's a really good idea.
Creative.
Yeah.
That's what we were.
Yeah. We played a different type of baseball, but I'm saving that for probably my number one slot. So I'll come back to that.
Okay.
I'm going to do my number 3. This is my number.
This is 3, yep.
This is my number 3. I'm going to do cops and robbers. And so we had a group of kids in the neighborhood.
Dude, that's fun.
And we were all on bicycles. And we would all have toy guns. And you're just riding around, and we'd split up on the teams and stuff like this. And, it was just a good time. And you're just cruising the streets looking for the people. And
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great memories.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You'd capture them and bring them back, and then they'd have to come break them out or whatever. And yeah, it was just so much fun.
Now, were your boundaries, obviously where you grew up close to the Dairy Queen, was it like that main road a boundary and then that other road over, is it Walnut?
We would like call out boundaries. Like,
okay.
There was this church that was up there. We'd be like, you're not allowed past the church parking lot. That was like a boundary. And like, you're not allowed past the field. So we'd like make boundaries this way, and then you're not allowed over. At the time, Lauren Andrews Middle School was over there. They've since torn that down, and then the Dairy Queen. So you'd like call out these boundaries of where we're playing. It'd be based on how many kids you have or whatever, right? And like some of the kids, sometimes you'd get kids from like a few streets up that would come down and play, or like we'd go play over there or whatever. So
nice.
Yeah, dude, it was
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah. I remember the bike. It was a black bike with purple letters. Huffy was the bike brand.
Oh,
I remember
I had
cruising
a
around. I had a white toy pistol. And it was a water gun, but I just, that was a good time.
Dude, that's so fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I feel bad about for kids today that don't get to experience all these games. They don't get to meet neighbors. They're not going to have memories like this. They'll be like top 5 games, and it'll be apps on their phone.
Yeah, Fortnite or whatever. Yeah.
Fortnite was my favorite game growing up.
This is not a yard game, but did you ever... I remember as a kid, I would always want to make like a bow and arrow or like spears as a little boy, right? And so I'd go out in the backyard and I'd take a brick and I'd like hit it against rocks and try to like break off shards of rock to make an arrowhead. And I don't know. I'd practice in the yard. And yeah. I showed my boys how to do that last weekend. And I was like, all right, you take a rock and you're going to hit it against this other rock. And we're going to try to get a sharp piece. And we had a straight stick. And I like showed them how to get everything. And so we had fun with it.
Yeah, that's fun. Good, those are such good things to do. Allows you to use your creativity a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for us. It's good. I think it's good for boys especially. Just hey, there's something in us that like wants to hunt and wants to do these things, and yeah, I think it's a good thing.
So my number 2, and it's tough. I've got a few mentionables too that didn't fall within like games necessarily. So I'll have to mention those at the end. I think number 2 is kick the can.
Never played it.
Oh, dude, it was so fun. Again, I'm not gonna. People know it out there, but leave us a comment if you know how to play kick the can. It would be very similar to hide and seek, cops and robbers, capture the flag. It's in that realm. So much fun.
Yeah, I've never.
I think the most extreme version I ever played one time was at this campground. You went down there to North Carolina, that one camp.
New Manna, yeah.
Yep, and there's one year, I think they were playing kick the can. It may have been that. But a group of us went out into the water at nighttime to hide. So we wouldn't be
Oh,
found.
wow.
We literally took life vests out into the water. So like far enough away with like flashlights, people couldn't see you. Of course, it's a lake, worst case is a snake probably. But I'll never forget then when we moved our way back into shore, all of a sudden it was like, I feel like the people looking for you doubled in size. And so 2 of us hid underneath of a metal, it was like a floating dock, like an aluminum floating dock. And dude, I remember people were like running on the dock. You'd hear and they'd be like, maybe they're underneath the dock, and we literally went under the water. Dude,
that's legit.
Dude, it was insane. It was like a serious thing, and then finally, it got to the point where they're like, okay, we cannot find these people, and there's probably 200 people looking for like 3 of us. Where we showed up just soaking wet, and they're like, "Where the heck were you at?"
Yeah, and such a good feeling in that moment to be like, "This is where we're," and they're like, "No way!"
Yes, you were
such
right
a
there.
good feeling. Yeah,
it was fun.
That was a good time. We did that, not that in particular, but I remember as you were telling that story, I was thinking of it. The camp I grew up going to was in Pennsylvania, and they had like on the last night, you could ring the bell. If you rung the bell, it was like a big deal. And all the counselors were trying to get you and like shoot you with paintball guns or whatever. And so
if you get with paintball, you can't go ring it. You're out.
You're out. Yeah.
Okay.
Or if they tag you, you're out.
Yep.
And so like that was the thing, like try to ring the bell. And I was always too afraid to try to ring the bell. I was younger at the time too, like probably like 7th or 8th grade. But I remember thinking like there's this senior in the cabin named Chris Ball, and I'm like, man, Chris Ball's gonna try to ring the bell tonight.
You're hyping him up.
Yeah, in your mind, these junior or senior in high school, these guys are just like, man, these are the best guys.
They know how to keep a basement dry.
Yeah, these guys are gonna keep someone's basement super dry. So yeah, who would have thought I would be the one keeping the basement dry? Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought?
But yeah, that was like, yeah.
That's
old
a cool
camp.
game.
Yeah. I remember when I was at camp, so I lost my hair the summer between my 7th and 8th grade year. But the summer in between my 6th and 7th grade year, my hair was starting to get really bad. That was when my dad bought that wig for me. And so the first unveiling of the wig was at summer camp. And so I kept it. At camp, I wore like one of those bucket style hats, like something you wear to the beach, and it was camouflage. This hat I wore was camo, like 90s camo, not like cool digital camo today, but like old school 90s green and brown camouflage. I'd wear this hat all day with the string tightened up. That way it could never come off of me. I'd swim in this hat. I would all day be in this hat, right?
How many people knew what was going on under the hat? I think everybody knew, and
I think people knew something was up, but no one said anything to me. So then during church service, what would happen is they would go into the camp, into the church service, and I would be like 5 minutes late for the service. I'd run up to the cabin and I'd pull out from under the bed this towel with my wig wrapped in it. I'd take off my camo hat and I would put the wig on and like bobby pin it to my remaining hair. And so,
dude, is there a picture floating around?
I don't know.
There has to be.
It was a mess.
If you went to that camp and you have a picture, please
post it
Please
somewhere.
post
Yeah.
it.
Get it out there where the world needs it.
Dude,
But
that's rough.
it was rough.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was rough. But, you know, at the moment, I don't think I realized how rough it was.
Yeah.
I was just like, we're just going through this, you know, because how do you like break that down as like a 12-year-old kid? Like, you're never going to have hair ever again. Like,
yeah, your body's in a weird position.
Yeah.
It's all weird. And now minus the hair.
yeah. And my dad's nickname for me is Fat Boy. So it's like, that doesn't help anything either. Like, confidence is at an all-time low. Self-esteem is non-existent. Hey, Fat Boy, you seen the remote control? It's like, got the deer antler tied to it, Dad. What do you want, you know? And so, yeah. But camp, dude, great memories.
Oh, yeah.
Great memories.
Minus that one.
Yeah. So glad I went to camp as a kid, church camp. So, send your kids. You know, maybe that's another reason to get back in church.
Yeah.
Get them in church camp. That's an awesome thing. Yeah, so my number 2, your number 2 was kick the can.
Kick the can.
Trying to think. I had some written down. I was thinking of some as we were talking too. So, yeah, I'm going to go a yard game, not from my childhood, but from today. Something that I like doing, and something we were doing on Saturday, which is cornhole.
There you go.
I love playing cornhole.
Cornhole's fun.
So it's fun. I played in high school. So in high school, I worked a lot. I worked at McDonald's and I saved up and bought a car, and I've talked about those stories and stuff. But on Fridays, so they put me in charge of the pep rallies my senior year. The principal put me in charge and said, you know, these pep rallies are dead. You've got 2 weeks to turn this around. So then I'm emceeing these pep rallies. And really when I started to come out of my shell and like realize that I can talk to people and stuff like that, really good for me. So I'm really thankful. Mr. Sattler, Mr. Worsler, if you guys are out there, thank you.
They're both probably viewers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say dead. But yeah, probably
Okay.
viewers.
Okay.
But anyways, so on Fridays, after school, I would not go home. I would go out into the parking lot and we would start playing cornhole before these football games. And so we just play for hours
that's
before the game.
awesome.
So then as the game got closer and closer, people are coming, there's food showing up, and
Oh,
people
yeah.
are bringing stuff. And then, some of the guys would bring like grills and stuff. And it's a small country school, whatever, you know. And so we're playing cornhole for hours before these games start. So much fun. And then at church, we did like a cornhole tournament. So Sunday nights after church in the summertime, we had like 8 sets of boards in the gymnasium, and you paired up with a partner, and there's a bracket, and you're playing different people.
Dude,
I just
that's
like playing. It was fun. We got second place. Me and my buddy Chris were on the same team. We got second
It's the
place.
same Chris that was your hero,
Asian Chris, yeah.
Chris Ball.
Oh, no, different Chris.
Different
Sorry,
Chris.
different Chris. Yeah, different Chris. Mobile Trades, at Mobile Trades. But anyways, cornhole's fun. We were playing this weekend and just going over the rules and stuff with my kids, and it's just like, it's a game anybody can play.
Anybody.
It's simple, easy concepts,
Yep.
and super fun. So
Yep.
that's my number 2.
Interesting. Yes, I steered away from a few that are more so geared for today, but the other one, I still love it. Kickball.
Oh yeah, great game.
Kickball, I was between that and wiffle ball, because I love both.
Yes.
But dude, kickball is just amazing.
Yeah. Kickball's great. Do you remember that picnic from this past year?
Oh yeah, my thought went right there.
That's where my mind went as soon as you said kickball. We went to this 4th of July picnic. You want to tell the story?
Go for it.
I don't know
It's
the
more
guy's
real
name.
for you.
Yeah, so-
shout out. He's probably not a listener.
No, not yet. He will
Not
be.
yet.
And so we go to Jeremy's house for like this 4th of July picnic you're having with your like life group at church and stuff, and totally cool, enjoying our time, and we're playing kickball. And so my daughter is 5 years old at the time, and this guy steps up, or I forget, did he throw the ball?
Yeah, he threw it.
Yeah, he was trying to get someone out, and it hit my daughter like directly in her face, and she just like was bawling, crying, like just like wah, like, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So that guy works for the the Rubber Ducks, doesn't he?
Rubber Duck. Shout out,
Yeah,
Sean.
Yeah, see if he'll give me some tickets. I want to take.
Maybe I'll do that. Be like, yeah, his daughter's still really roughed up.
Would you mind getting him for like really good tickets?
Actually, when you came with us to the Arrows game, he was there.
Yeah, I know. I saw
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Okay. You're like, what's up, Sean? You should have had your daughter like wrapped up with her face
Just
mask.
like a mummy.
She's still recovering. She'll be all right.
They think they'll be able to save her eyes. I'm not sure. And I think she'll be able to see again. So yeah, dude, if he gets me some tickets, that'd be nice.
Reparations.
Yeah. So my number one game. So your number one game was kickball.
Mm-hmm.
My number one game, and this is a politically incorrect term, and we probably need to change the name, but it's called Indian ball. You probably need to change the name to Native Indigenous Peoples ball, but Indian ball. So what the game was is you have the ball, obviously. So this is a fun game because you could play with 3 or 4 people would be probably ideal to play with. But so we would go in this field back behind the house, and there's one person, and so you throw the ball up in the air, and you smack the ball, right? Hit the ball. And then you set the bat on the ground in front of you. So the bat is here on the ground.
I did play this before.
Okay?
Yep.
And then if the person catches the ball, they are automatically up to bat.
Yep.
Right? The goal is to get up to bat. If you don't catch the ball, but if it lands on the ground, let's say I hit a grounder or you're not able to get to it and field it, you then throw the ball, so the bat's laid down in front of you, and you throw the ball or roll the ball, depending on how close you are, and you're trying to hit the bat.
Yep.
If you hit the bat, you are then up. We played that for hours, hundreds of hours as kids.
Dude, that's amazing.
And we'll still play it. We'll go to my sister's
So
house and play Indian ball together or something, and it's just like, man, this doesn't get
Can't
old.
beat it.
Yeah, it's
Can't
so
beat
much
it.
fun. My kids love it because it's so simple. It's like you're either catching the ball or you're hitting the bat with the ball, right? And with the little kids, like Ella's 6, and so I'm like, okay, you can take 10 steps up from where you are and see if you can hit the bat. You know,
That's
whatever.
cool.
And so
That's
it's like
incentivizing kids like that in a game is also good too, because it teaches them like, I don't know, more of an interest to them at that point.
yeah, you don't want to
Keep
make it so
going.
they're just gonna get pummeled the whole time. You know, you want them to have a chance of getting up the bat.
Oh yeah.
So
Dude, that's so fun.
I love baseball.
I do too. I could have picked all of mine for just about baseball. The other one I didn't mention was $3. You ever play $3?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, it's a blast. It's every bit. It's a little different from Indian ball. Same principle. There's a guy tossing it up, hitting the ball. Everybody is a fielder. If you catch it in the air, you get $1. If you catch it a 1 hopper, 75 cents. 2 hopper, 50 cents. Any ground ball is a quarter.
Okay.
As soon as you get to $3, you go to bat. So it is a free for all. But let's say you and I are super competitive and we both jump up for the ball and it hits my glove and bounces out. I go minus $1 because it was in the air. You're charging a grounder and you're like $2.75 and you know you get this grounder and you touch it and you miss it, but you touched it, you lose 25 cents. You go back to $2.50.
That's
Dude,
really cool.
It's so fun. We
How do
played
you
it in
keep track? Or you're just in your mind? You're like, I'm at 250.
Yeah, you're calling it out. So you cut a line drive, $1, go catch a 2 hopper, $1.50.
Yeah.
So everybody's aware of like where everyone's at.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so fun. And we've played it even at like the parks. So you implement, you got trash cans, trees. I mean, you could do like an urban setting where you've got more obstacles.
That sounds like a lot
Dude,
of fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah. I bought a baseball glove this past year, and I bought gloves for my kids because I'm like, I just want to be able to play catch.
I know.
Just let's play catch together. Like I don't necessarily need to be playing a game all the time, and they want to, so we'll go to a park and they'll want to go on the baseball field. And I'm like, pitch me the ball, Dad, and you know, like that's fun. We'll do that, but like I like just playing catch.
I'm with you.
And so yeah, we did it. So at work last year, we need to bring it back this year, but last year in the spring and summer, everyone just had their glove in the car. And so if it was a real nice day and if we were kind of slow or whatever, be like, hey, let's play catch today. You know, and at lunch, just go outside for 15, 20 minutes and throw the ball around. And just in the parking lot, had like a triangle going, and you're just...
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's just fun. Even as an adult, catch is fun.
Yep. My wife and I will do that a lot of times. We'll either go shoot hoops or play catch.
That's really cool.
That's it.
And you can talk while you do it.
Talk, yeah.
Yeah. I know she's pretty bitter about when I play her in horse.
Yeah, you burned her up pretty good.
She'll get it. She's a trooper.
Well, and I think it's harder too because you came from, your background, farm school, but you grew up in the city of champions.
I'm a champion through and through.
And I think, she grew up a little bit more elite than you and I did. And so there's expectations of success.
But when you're up against a champion, what can you do?
What can you do?
Speaking of champions, one of the things Massillon's known for is the water treatment facility. And so as soon as you go to the Massillon Walmart, it immediately smells like sewage as soon as you leave your car. If you don't believe me, just go there. Just go to the Walmart.
You might live in South Carolina and you're listening.
Drive. Get in your car right now and drive.
Type in Applebee's, Massillon, Ohio.
Yeah, Massillon Marketplace is what you're looking for. And so
can I pause your story?
Sure.
We're driving yesterday, the day before, and we're driving past the river that's there. And I was like, talking to kids and stuff, and my wife's like, do you even think that's safe? And I was like, what? And she's like, it's just got that sewage running through it. And I said, that's not sewage. That's a legitimate river.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. You could fish out of it. She's like, I wouldn't touch it. I'm like, the sewage plant is so overpowering that in her mind, she sees water running through Massillon. It's got to be sewage.
It's got to be feces. It's got to be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Welcome home. Welcome home. So,
Yeah.
anyways, back to the sewage plant.
I was trying to explain to my kids because they were asking me about our well because they were confused about a sump pump versus a well.
Okay.
Right? And they don't know what's going, like what is what. So I'm trying to explain to them what's happening in the basement, right?
Okay.
All this water is in the basement. And I get it. It's confusing as a kid. Because as a kid, I didn't have a sump pump and we had city water. So these are new concepts, right, to these kids. So I'm explaining to them where well water comes from. And they're like, how come the water here tastes different from the water at Grandma and Grandpa's house, which they have city water? And I was like, oh, well, theirs comes from what's called a water treatment facility. And they're like, what's that? And I was like, well, when you flush the toilet, it goes to a water treatment facility. That's why when we go to Walmart and you open the door, it smells like poop. And like trying to explain that to them is that when you flush the toilet, they then go recycle all that water and you drink it again. And they're like, that's gross. And I'm like, yeah. So the way a well works is the water comes, the water from the ground, or it rains and water goes down through the ground purifies the water, and then we turn the tap on and the water comes out. And I said, and our poop goes in something called a septic tank, which your septic tank has to be, 100 feet at least from your well. Like you want them separated, that way you're not drinking the water that you just pooped out, whatever. And just like, they were fascinated by the concepts between wells, septics, sump pumps, like.
Do you think you'll ever take them on a field trip to the Massillon City wastewater facility?
I would love to. Just put them in their swim trunks, grab a towel, and say, all right, guys, we're going down.
We're going to go learn.
Yeah, let's go down here. I knew a guy that used to work at a place. He worked at the water treatment facility in Akron, and he was telling me some stories of some stuff they found, and I was just like...
Like, what did they find?
Just like random objects that got flushed down toilets, and...
It's true,
Like he said before, they found like guns and stuff in these treatment facilities, and nasty stuff, dead animals floating through the water. Yeah. And it's like, look, I don't care how much chemicals you're putting in it. Give me the well all day long.
Give me the well. Yep.
It is well with my soul. And so I asked this old guy at church, and I said, what's the secret? Because he was like 85, 90 years old. And I said, what's the secret to a long life? And he said, like, never go to bed angry and drink plenty of water. And I was like, well water or city water? He's like, it's got to be well water. And I was like, thanks. That's good advice.
He's proven it out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm always questionable on stuff like that. It seems too good to be true that you can take the same water that someone flushed down the toilet and treat it, and now I can drink it.
And it's perfectly fine. I don't
buy it.
I understand that under a microscope you could probably show me something to make it convincing, but it's the principle of it. Like, some of it comes down to principle.
Yes. I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Any other games that kind of almost made your top?
Oh, honorable mention type games?
Yeah.
I don't know. We were always just like, I don't know. We did a lot of stuff with toy guns and, had super soakers and water fights and play games up in tree houses and, stuff like this, and make tree forts and, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like
more
being a boy,
stuff.
making like a knife out of a rock and like just stuff like that I like doing as a kid. But played a lot of baseball. We play football. And then I was into rollerblading for a little bit as a kid. So I don't know, just fun stuff as a kid. But as far as games go, we played my mom was really into badminton, so she got like this badminton net at Mark's, and we'd go play in the yard. And I think I told the story how I killed the grass in the backyard by lowering the badminton net all the way down and playing tennis back there. Stuff like that. But outside of that, just normal games, whatever.
That's interesting. Yeah, we did the one thing we did the Summer Olympics. So we created all these different Olympic events, and so we keep track of records as well. So each year you'd know, like, all right, so the record for the high jump was set at this bar. We didn't have different categories like, male, female. It was, if you were a human being, you were competing.
Yeah.
So that was always fun. We did that. We did a little bit of, always seasonal sports. And I'm trying to think if there's anything. The other thing we did do, which was always fun, we got the neighbors involved. So I would consider this like a game. But we would go spy on the neighbors. We loved Army. So we'd literally dress up in our Army clothes. And we got so extreme where we were literally floating down the creek. Of course, we get like a little like straw type thing, but floating on our backs down the creek. The one neighbor, Joe, super cool guy, similar to Mr. Mushball. He would let us, he'd be like, hey, you guys can play basketball at my house whenever you want to. Don't ever have to come out. You can play whenever. So we'd go play hoops there. Well, we'd love to spy on him when he was mowing. So we'd be floating down the creek and try to sneak up on him. And do the one time I'll never forget, you could hear the mower going around the house. So you knew where he was at. So you thought. Well, the one time he got smart, he tied his shirt on his mower, so it sounded like it was still running. And we thought, we're going to come around the one side and bust him. Dude, he comes running after us. Of course, as a kid, like, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
And we were just, running as fast as we could, jumping into the creek. Just wild as
That's
could be.
so fun.
But, dude, it's so fun to, play games like that.
Yeah. Carefree, man.
Dude, carefree.
I was talking to my kids about that, like,
That's it.
don't waste or don't wish the childhood away. And because we talked about that, would you rather be an adult? We went to Panera this past Saturday and for breakfast, and we brought those cards with us with the questions, and one of them was, would you rather be an adult or a kid, and why? And so then they were talking about that, like, I'd rather be a kid that would have to pay bills and stuff like that. So yeah, good times. Well, we're about an hour and a half in here. Anything you want to...
Do we have any... you said we gained one subscriber. My wife, I'll tell her to unsubscribe.
Yeah, let her know. It's your 8th wedding anniversary. Let's just take a minute.
Thank you.
That's so exciting, man. I'm happy for you guys, so...
Thank you, yep. tax day. It's a dual celebration for us, tax day and the anniversary.
You got married on tax
I
day.
got married on tax day.
Good for you.
Friday evening, so.
We're back up to 4 likes. So someone
Okay, so
else
we got
liked
4
this.
likes. What about comments on Spotify or YouTube?
Yeah, I had yeah. There's a funny thing about the our sponsor, Just Chiropractic.
How do we forget that?
I know. And so my buddy had said on here, I do, sometimes I do. I was saying about this. Yeah, I do feel like a loser when I just read comments from a few select friends. That those are the only people that are leaving us comments, or just a few friends of mine, and usually just one lone dude that's leaving us comments. But
We
anyways,
appreciate you, Aaron.
I
You
think
know who you are.
he called out the code Amish Hands because you spring that kind of stuff on me, and I don't know that it's coming. Like, you were like, and this is a new code, and why don't you go ahead and tell them what the new code is? Like, you did it tonight with the with Enjoy Optical, and you're like, is it the same code? And so, like, I'm sitting here trying to think, like, what'd be a funny code to say? And so, like, I'm trying to think, and so that's what I came up with, was the Amish Hands, just based on the one story I told about this intern that had really strong hands, who's from Pennsylvania, and I was joking around with her about being Amish, Pennsylvania Dutch. And so, anyways, he was joking about that, and then he said the candle sets the ambiance. It was one of his comments, but
Interesting.
I like candles. I've always liked candles, but I've appreciated them even more since I've been by myself here, and just something about
comfort.
Yeah, it's something about lighting a candle, makes the area smell nice. There's a little flicker going, and I'll put on a candle sometimes. I'm just by myself and I'll be reading or something, and it's just like, this is nice. It's peaceful.
So he appreciates it. It sets the mood.
He's like, whose idea was the candle? Sets the ambiance. So I'm like, thanks. I said,
your idea.
I'm replying in the third person, so I just said, candle was Jrich's idea. He loves candles. That's my reply.
Okay.
I don't really know what else to say.
So our last sponsor, which, apologize to stretch out to the very end. Last Tuesday, we went to Adjust Chiropractic. And lo and behold, Dr. Brian's there. Of course, he's always treating us. And intern Leah is there.
You met her.
We met her, finally.
Did you tell her about me?
Well, in my mind, the way you were describing her, I was kind of looking for an Amish type girl.
No, she's a pretty lady.
She's not Amish.
She's a little taller. She's like
she's a little bit taller.
5'10".
But I met her and I was like, I kind of thought like, I'm going to see an Amish type of girl.
Yeah.
She's not an Amish girl. And so I was a little bit thrown off. I'm like, wait, you're the girl. And of course I told him, I said, yeah. She's like, I'm a big fan of the podcast, which I don't know if she is or not.
Oh, okay.
She
I was going to
said
say.
she is.
No,
I don't believe it. We've yet to see a comment.
No way.
We've yet to see a
like. If you're out there, prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong.
I'm saying you don't listen.
But I told him, I said, last night we actually had a new code drop. And of course they asked me for it. And I said, I can't tell you, you have to listen. So we'll see.
You always do this stuff with people. I can't tell you, you gotta listen.
You just have to listen now.
Yeah.
Because now we'll know if they are true fans. Because next time you stop into Dr. Brian and you see both of them, you can say, you guys know the code?
Yeah, I need to.
And if they don't, then they're not true fans.
I gotta call and schedule. I
gotta get in there.
Dude, my lower back been killing me, so I need to get in.
So you're having issues, but let's say maybe one of our subscribers is having issues. They're like, my back's tight. I was out all weekend playing indigenous ball.
And if you're playing native indigenous people's ball for more than a few hours at a time, all the bending down, picking up the balls, throwing the balls, like there's a lot going on with the body here. And so you've got to get in.
Do that motion one more time.
You're in the fields. You're picking up the balls.
It might look like you're doing the front crawl.
Yeah, you might look like you're swimming. Maybe you just got ISR certified and you're out there swimming, drowning babies. But anyways, your back is probably tight and you need adjusted. And that's just real. And people say, I don't believe in chiropractors.
I don't either.
They don't believe in you until you give them a call and schedule an appointment. And so, Just Chiropractic isn't one of those shady offices that only calls people who have been in car accidents and stuff. Because, I feel like there's one extreme or another with a chiropractor's office. It's either this is shady and this chiropractor's creepy, or it's wow, this is a nice place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, Dr. Brian and the staff there are great. So, go to Adjust Chiropractic, and there is an intern there that's a former Pennsylvania Dutch community member. Her name is Leah.
So don't look for an Amish lookalike.
No.
She's broken off from the sect.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
She's been shunned by her family, so she's here alone now in Northeast Ohio, I think. It's been a rough life for her to be shunned. But the code that you're going to use to get $10 off your first visit is Amish Hands is the code. So she started trying to crack my neck, and I was just like, wow, you got some strong hands. And so that's where that code has come from. So head down to Adjust Chiropractic in Canton today. They'll get you taken care of and
save $10.
Save $10. These economic hard times, you're going to get chiropractic care, $10 off. You're going to get 2 pairs of lenses for $1.48.
Do you feel like Dr. Brian might even stretch out and say, you know what, I'd like to match Enjoy's offer?
I don't know.
I mean, is it a stretch to say he can give you a full adjustment for $1.48?
It might be a little bit of a stretch. Maybe the intern could give you a full adjustment for $1.40 just for practice. Why don't we touch base with him, and we'll see if there's anything else he wants to offer the viewers for next time.
Sounds good.
We'll do that. All right, guys. Anything else you wanted to add?
That's it.
That's it.
Love you guys.
In the books. Peace.